As sports history fans, we often reminisce about the legends. Willis Reed limping onto the NBA Finals court, Kurt Schilling's bloody sock, Kerry Strug's courageous dismount, and so many more. These moments often define sports history. But what about the countless injuries that did not become legends, or careers that were derailed due to inadequate care? That's where this episode's sponsor comes in. Introducing to you, ILP Sports Consultants, your trusted sports injury partner, available 24/7. Brian Maelli at ILP Sports Consultants has over 20 years of experience in the orthopedic and sports medicine industry, and he has worked with athletes across the gamut, from youth to amateurs, professionals, in almost every sport played in the United States of America, accommodating athletes at every stage of their career. This adaptability ensures that ILP services are perfectly tailored to your skill level, no matter where you are in your athletic journey. With ILP, you are in control. Choose the steps that matter most to you. Diagnosis, treatment plan, recovery, or the whole journey. ILP services are tailored to your unique needs. Rushing for care is a common pitfall, leading to future problems. ILP Sports Consultants helps you make the right decisions, ensuring that you receive timely and safe care. And here's a bonus. Brian hosts the Injured List podcast, sharing insights and athlete stories you won't want to miss. Whether you're a concerned parent or grandparent, or an athlete yourself seeking guidance, ILP Sports Consultants is your beacon of hope in sports injury management. Visit ilpsports.com today. That's the letters ilpsports.com. ILP Sports Consultants, where your well-being is the priority and your recovery is the mission. Choose ILP Sports Consultants for a healthier sports journey, helping you get back in the game the smart way.
All right. Welcome to the show, everybody. This is one guy with a mic, dingers and dunks. And it's Football Fridays, but first off, anybody that downloaded this week's episode already, and got dead air, that's my bad. I apparently was so out of it when I recorded that I didn't realize I really wasn't recording, but it did 38 minutes of dead air because the mic wasn't plugged in or something. I don't know. But anyways, so this is getting re-recorded, re-released. Call it the remix version, apparently. But hey, if I've been doing this for almost 2 years now, and that's the first time I screwed up on a podcast, I say I'm doing pretty well then. So that's good. Just a rookie mistake, apparently. Anyways, this week's topic is going to be the 1984 Tigers. The Detroit Tigers. Probably one of the most underrated World Series champions that we've had in my lifetime anyways. And most in quite possibly in ever. I mean, so we'll get a little deep into that, discuss some players and stuff. As always, it's Football Friday on a Saturday night, and we've already had Saturday games. Ohio State beat Penn State. Alabama held on to beat Tennessee. Florida State came back and beat Duke. Utah beat USC. UNLV Running Rebels became bowl eligible after a win with Colorado State tonight. Then you had Ole Miss Auburn, and Ole Miss telling them to win there. Then wasn't the only upset that really was Iowa lost to Minnesota, 12-10. Real barn burner, let me tell you. So that's about it. Nebraska beat Northwestern, and fun fact for you guys, all you Nebraska fans that might listen to this podcast, Nebraska actually has an inside chance of making the Big Ten championship game. Hear me out. There's 5 games left in the season. They're 4-3. They play Iowa, Wisconsin. Both teams are currently ahead of them in the standings. Minnesota still has to play Wisconsin as well, who's also ahead of Nebraska in the standings and holds the tiebreaker. So, therefore, tied, because Nebraska's only got 2. Yeah. So, anyways, they're all right there jumbled together, and so if Nebraska wins out and Wisconsin beats Minnesota, the last game of the year, Nebraska is your Big Ten West champion. Say it with me, folks. Who would have thought that? All right. Now, there's a little rundown of that. We'll get to the NFL Sunday picks coming up at the end of the broadcast. So let's have a little fun baseball fact now, shall we? Did you all know that since 1981, the Los Angeles Dodgers have won 3 World Series? 2 of those World Series were in shortened seasons: the '81 strike and the 2020 COVID year. And I looked in 1994, they could have won a championship that year if the would have lined up correctly. But that Montreal Expos team, as I've stated before in a podcast, was just dynamite. So, yes. Also, fun fact, if you hate the wave at sporting events, you can blame the Detroit Tigers in 1984 for making it mainstream, because that was one of the things that happened at Michigan Stadium for when the Michigan Wolverines played in '83. Tigers started getting hot in '84, and they brought the wave to Tiger Stadium, and then it caught on when people were watching the postseason and the Tigers play in the ALCS and also in the World Series. So we can blame these guys. Also, this 1984 Tigers team is one of only 3 teams ever to start the season in first place and finish the season in first place without relinquishing it at all. They spent 153 days in first place. That's games played. All right. They never once were out of first place. They had a 15.5 game lead towards the end of the season. They did play a 19-inning game on April 27th of 1984, and they didn't have their 10th loss of the year until June 2nd, a full 2 months into the season. Jack Morris threw a no-hitter in the 4th game of that year in 1984. They had 40 comeback wins. That means that they were trailing 7 at the 7th inning or later. They had 7 walk-off wins, and they had 24 blown leads. So just think if they would have went 12-12 in those blown leads, they would have won 116 games, which would rank them right in wins with the Yankees and also the '08 Cubs as the most wins in a season. So how did we get this far? Well, their offense had catcher. You had Lance Parrish. First base was Dave Bregman. Second base was Sweet Lou Whitaker. At shortstop, you had Alan Trammell. Third base was a hodgepodge of players, but the guy that got most of the playing time for the year was Howard Hojo Johnson. Y'all may remember from his Mets years, because I certainly didn't know he played for the Detroit Tigers in 1984, and he came up in the Tigers organization. So that was something I knew, and he confirmed that on Twitter for me, or X, however you want to call it. Out in left field, you had Larry Herndon. In center field, you had Chet Lemon. Out in right field, you had Kirk Gibson. Yes, that Kirk Gibson for all you young sports fans out there. He played right for the Detroit Tigers in '84. That was 4 years before he decided to hit a walk-off against Dennis Eckersley for the Dodgers. I think that was '88. Maybe it was '89. No, it was '88 because '89 was the San Francisco Oakland A's World Series because that was the Earthquake Series. And then at DH, you had Darrell Evans, who, fun fact here, was the coach of one of my coworkers' baseball teams, Brett Flowers. He has a baseballreference.com page. And as always, you all know where I get my stats from, baseballreference.com. Stathead.com is the main website that gives you the baseball, basketball, football, and hockey. Again, I'm not sponsored. I'm not an ambassador. I just use them like their website. However, if somebody knows somebody over there that listens to this podcast, please, let's work something out. So maybe y'all can get a discount or something. I don't know. It's like $16.99 a month. Maybe we can save you like $1 or $2. Off their bench, they had Barbero, Garby. They had Tom Brockins, Rupert Jones, Johnny Grubb, Rusty Kuntz, and that's Kuntz. I'll let you pronounce that how you want to, but it's Rusty Kuntz. Okay. Marty Castillo. And then in the pitching staff, they had Jack Morris as their ace. Dan Petrie as their second starter, Milt Wilcoy as their third, Juan Baringo, I can't even pronounce that, Juan B as their fourth, Dave Rozema as their fifth. Their bullpen closer was Willie Hernandez. Aurelio Lopez was the setup guy, and Doug Bear was the other guy that saw the most innings pitched out of the bullpen. So, where did this team rate offensively in 84? Well, they were first in runs with 829. They were fourth in batting average with 271. First in on-base percentage at 342. Second in slugging percentage at 432. Second in OPS at 774. They were first in dingers with 187. Sixth in stolen bases with 106. Their pitching staff was first in wins with 104. They were first in ERA with a 3.49. They were 10th in complete games with 19. They were first in saves with 51. And they were fourth in Ks in 914. That's how that offensive was a complete juggernaut in 1984. That's how that worked out. Let's see. So, this team won the AL East. They also went on to the ALCS where they played the Kansas City Royals and won 3-0. Kirk Gibson winning the ALCS MVP. Then they would go on to beat the San Diego Padres in the World Series 4-1, where Alan Trammell would win the World Series MVP as well. That San Diego team would have to take the Chicago Cubs 5 games in order to win that one. And then Leon Durham booted the ball between his legs 2 years before Buckner did it in the World Series for the Red Sox. But we digress as Cubs fans and just keep hammering home. What can I say? Sparky Anderson won AL Manager of the Year. Kirk Gibson, like I said, was ALCS MVP. He was 6th in MVP voting, 3rd in triples that year, 4th in hit by pitches, 6th in slugging percentage, 8th in stolen bases with 29, and he was somewhere in OPS as well. He was on the OPS leaderboard as well. Then you had Chet Lemon. He was an AL leader for fielding percentage by a center fielder. He with a 995. He was an all-star. He was number 7 in the AL in intentional walks, number 8 in doubles, and number 8 in hit by pitches. You had Lance Parrish. He was an all-star catcher. He was a Silver Slugger Award winner, Gold Glove Award winner, AL leader in double plays by a catcher that year, 16th in AL MVP voting, number 3 in AL in home runs with 33. He was actually number 1 in home runs per at bat. So every 17 and a half at bats, he hit a home run. And he was number 7 in strikeouts at 120. You had Alan Trammell, who ended up winning April Player of the Year that year. Yeah, he was an all-star. He was the 1984 World Series MVP, Gold Glove winner that year, 9th in AL MVP award voting, number 5 in batting average that year with a 314, number 8 with an on-base percentage of 382, and he was number 8 in doubles with 34. You had Lou Whitaker up the middle as well, playing second base. He was an AL Gold Glove winner, AL Silver Slugger Award winner, AL All-Star Game. All right, that's how you get there. They were tied up the middle, folks. If you look at that right there, their catcher, their shortstop, their second baseman, and their center fielder all led the league in something. They were tight up the middle, and that's how you do it in baseball. All right. Then, if you want to talk about your pitching staff, well, nowhere else to go than Jack Morris. He was an all-star. He won the AL Babe Ruth Award. Didn't even know that was an award till just now. Didn't even look into what it was. Should have, but didn't. Finished 7th in Cy Young Award voting. He had 14 wild pitches. He was number 2 in the AL in wins, number 4 in the AL for games started with 35. He was number 9 in the AL in winning percentage at 633. He was number 9 in Ks with 148. He was number 9 in walks. He was April Player of the Month, the month he threw his no. Now, this is the craziest thing ever because I'm not even for sure if Mariano Rivera pulled this off. But here it is. Willie Hernandez, their closer, The man that came in and shut things down. And it wasn't just the ninth inning, boys and girls. Oh no. He would come in and close things down starting in the seventh some games. Seventh, eighth, and ninth, it was Willie time. Alright? This dude was lights out. And what did this man do? Oh yeah, he was an all-star reserve pitcher. He was the AL Cy Young Award winner. He was the new Sporting News Pitcher of the Year award winner. He was the AL MVP as well. Cy Young and MVP. The dude's a closer. All right. He was the AL leaders in games pitched at 80. He finished 68 games that he pitched in. And he was number 3 in saves that year with 32. You want to know what else this man did? Here is his stat line from 1984 was a 1.92 ERA. He had a 9-3 record, right? Going with his 32 saves. He had 140.1 innings pitched. He only gave up 96 hits. He only gave up 30 runs. He only gave up 6 home runs that year. He walked 36 batters is all he walked. 8 of those were intentional. He struck out 112. All right. Let's see. His whip was .941. Yeah. His strikeouts to walk ratio was 3.11. Just saying. Jack Morris Sr. that year. His stat line. I know we got into a little bit, right? He had a 3.60 ERA. He had 35 starts. He had 9 complete games. He threw 1 shutout, which was that no-no. He pitched in 240 innings. He had a 1.282 whip. All right. His strikeout to walk ratio is 1.70. Right. And then you got Lance Parrish, the man, the myth, the legend, right there. Like I said, he was the man offensively. Right. So he had 75 runs scored. Right. He had 137 hits. He had 16 doubles, 33 dingers. He had 2 triples. So he contributed to 59 extra base hits. He had 98 RBIs. He had 2 stolen bases, caught 3 times. He walked 41 times. His batting average is only .237. So everybody complains about batting averages now, but even then, back then, it wasn't like fantastic. I mean, dude hit .237 for crying out loud. All right, he had 237, 287 on base percentage, and a .443 slugging percentage. Like, he had 6 sac flies. Alan Trammell, other guy, right? Here's the other guy that was on that team. What did he do? Oh, yeah, 85 runs scored, 174 hits. He had 34 doubles, 5 triples, and 14 home runs. He had 69 RBIs. And that was batting in the 6 hole. Okay? Then he had a 314 batting average, a 382 on base percentage, and a 468 slugging percentage. All right? He granted into 8 total double plays that year. Sweet Lou Whitaker. What did he do for you? Well, he only scored 90 times that year. He had 161 hits. He had 25 doubles, 1 triple, 13 home runs, 56 RBIs. He had 6 stolen bases. He batted .289, had a .357 on base percentage, and a .407 slugging percentage. He only grounded into 9 double plays. Then you got Kirk Gibson, right? The man, the myth, the legend. So in 84, right? Here it is. 1984. What did he do? Oh, yeah. He had 92 runs, 150 hits, 23 doubles, 10 triples, 27 dingers. So he had 60 extra base hits, 91 RBIs, 29 stolen bases. The dude was part of the 2020 club and almost made the 30-30 club. Walked 63 times, struck out 103, had a .282 average, a .363 on base percentage, and a .516 slugging percentage. The man was legit that year. This team was just stacked from top to bottom. I mean, even if you go with Darrell Evans, 37-year-old DH, right? He scored 60 times. He had 93 hits, 11 doubles, 1 triple, 16 dingers, 63 RBIs, 2 stolen bases. He batted .232. He had .353 on base percentage and a .384 slugging percentage, right? Then you look at Howard Johnson, third year in the league, 23-year-old guy, only kid on the team, right? What did he do that year? Oh yeah, he had 43 runs scored, 88 hits, 14 doubles, one triple, 12 dingers, 50 RBIs, 10 stolen bases. He batted 248, had a 324 on base percentage and a 394 slugging percentage. That's what I'm saying. And he was the weak link of the team. Howard Johnson, Sparky Anderson considered to be the weak link of the team. And I don't see how that's possible. I mean, the guy was still, it's not like anybody was blowing him out of the water, you know. Dave Bregman at first base. He had 42 runs scored, 74 hits, 8 doubles, 5 triples, 7 dingers, 44 RBIs. Like their RBI, they had 2 guys over 90, and that was Gibson and Parrish. They had one guy that had 76 RBIs and Chet Lemon. And then nobody else had over 70. Had over 70 RBIs. Crazy. Off the bench, you had Garby, who had 52 ribbies. Tom Brookins had 26. Rupert Jones had 37. Rusty Kuntz had 25. Johnny Grubb had 36. Like, those guys all had at bats at least, you know. Then you had Marty Castillo, who played a majority of the World Series, and he had 4 dingers and 17 ribbies during the season. Like, again, underrated because they just produced. Aurelio Lopez for your setup guy was 10-1 with a 2.94 ERA. Yeah, just and then you had Doug Bear, your other guy that had the most games coming out of the pen. He was a 5-3 record with a 3.75 ERA. Like, your highest guy with the ERA only appeared in 13 games, and he was actually one of your spot starters. Right, and he went 3-4, and that was Glenn Abbott. 3-4, and he had a 5.93 ERA. This team was just very on point, is what I'm getting at. And for them to, and I'm not the only one that has done the research and figured this out as well of how great this team is. You can also go to Bleacher Report, who just about a week ago did their top 50 teams all time, and the 84 Tigers were ranked 9th all time. They have the 19th most wins by a World Series champion ever. And they were the 5th most wins since 1982. Only the only the 86 Mets, the 98 Yankees, the 2018 Red Sox, and the 2022 Astros had more than 104 wins and won the World Series. So I would definitely put this Detroit Tigers team up against anybody. And you also got to remember, Jack Morris was just a gamer. Like, he won a World Series with the Tigers in '84, the Twins in '91, the Blue Jays in '92, and the Blue Jays in '93. He won 4 World Series. 3 of those were back to back to back. I mean, he didn't pitch in the '93 season, but, you know, well, he didn't pitch in the playoffs in the '93 season. So, but yeah, I mean, and then he did what he did with the Twins in '91. Like, holy crap. So, that's, I don't have any more words to say. I guess you guys can go to BaseballReference.com, look at the 1984 Detroit Tigers, look at the same thing that I found out. Go ahead and take care of it yourself. Compare the '84 Tigers to any other team besides the 4 that I just mentioned that had more wins than them. Like, this team could probably be the World Series champions this year. I mean, they'd probably have to run a little bit more. Probably be able to hit a few more home runs. But their pitching staff was pretty damn decent, that's for sure. So, that's what I got. That's what we got going on right there. It's fun times. This episode's definitely not making 38 minutes like the one y'all listened to that was blank. Imagine that. All right. So, it's football Fridays. Well, football Saturday. Football Sunday. I don't know. Wherever you want to take it. Hey, here are the picks for this weekend. Okay? NFL style. All right? We already know the Jaguars beat the Saints. So there was that, right? So what's your best 2 NFL matchups? Well, at the noon game, you got the Lions and Ravens. At the 7 o'clock game, you got the Dolphins Eagles. So pretty good day to have some good football. No 8:30 games this week because The London games are over, and they go to Germany next. Let's see. The rest, you got the Browns, Colts, Falcons, Buccaneers. Falcons, Buccaneers. That will be for the NFC South leader of the NFC South. Whoever wins that game will be the leader of the NFC South. Most likely the Buccaneers. Then you got the Steelers, Rams. Steelers coming off a bye. Rams playing at home, looking pretty nice. They just pulled Darrell Henderson off the streets to put him as a running back. Then Monday Night Football is the Niners up at U.S. Bank Stadium against the Minnesota Vikings. So we didn't drop an episode last week, but how did we do in our ESPN league? Well, we went 10-5 last week. That included the Thursday and Monday night game. All right, in week 5 we went 6-8, so we are 53-41 overall. So week 6 picks, we're gonna go with the Las Vegas Raiders over the Chicago Bears. We're taking Cleveland over Indy, Buffalo over New England, Washington over the Giants, Tampa Bay over Atlanta. We're going with Detroit on the road against Baltimore, a little get-back game because a couple years ago, Justin Tucker hit a 66-yard field goal that won Baltimore the game and denied Dan Campbell his first victory ever. We're going to go Pittsburgh versus L.A., the L.A. Rams. Pittsburgh's second time out at SoFi Stadium, and the Rams are going to pull out the victory there. Then you got Arizona versus Seattle. Kyler Murray is not your quarterback yet. James Conner's still hurt, so we're going Seattle Seahawks. Then you got Green Bay versus Denver. This has been a toss-up for me, and I've been going back and forth on this all day long. Do I get or all week long? Do I go with Sean Payton and Russell Wilson at home, or do I go Green Bay off a bye with Jordan Love and A.J. Dillon? Right, so I think we're going Green Bay. Green Bay over the Broncos. All right. Then we got the Chargers versus Chiefs at 3:25. Chiefs, obviously. As I said, Sunday Night Football is Miami versus Philly. Miami's defense may be a little suspect, but their offense is not. Their offense is legit. It's like track stars out there between Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Tua, and whoever you want to throw in the backfield. Either Mossert, Jeff Wilson, who just came off IR, any Slavin Ahmed, anybody back there in that backfield is just getting yards with that offensive line right now. And then on Monday night, you got San Francisco versus Minnesota. Minnesota is going to lose another heartbreaker at home in prime time because Kirk Cousins, you're still your quarterback, and you have a crappy defense, Vikings. So therefore, San Francisco 49ers with the win. Put it in the books. Week 7 in the NFL is this week. So now what's been going on in my life? Well, we're doing some streaming. That's a lot of fun. So we're on Twitch, boys and girls. We just hit 56 followers on Twitch. So we've streamed the number of times that needed to be for the month. We've also streamed the number of hours needed for the month. Now we just need the viewership. So I need 3 of you folks to go to Twitch right now and go find one guy with a mic on there. Hit that follow button, okay? Then I need you to turn your notifications on, just like you do with the podcast, just like you do with everything else that you do. You got to ring that bell so you get a notification of when I go live, right? Instead of when I drop a podcast, it's when I go live. All right, so I need you to do that for me. Then I need you to tune in because guess what? We're playing Madden Thursdays where we bust out Madden 24. We got COD Tuesdays, which is Call of Duty on Tuesdays. And then on Wednesdays and Fridays, it's dealer's choice, basically. So that's what we're doing for here on out. Winter is upon us. Golf is over. Me and my buddy Baker shot a plus 20 in a 2-man scrabble with 2 eagles and a birdie. Now that is some magic. We both drove the green on a couple par 4s. Mine was a 280. His was like a 300-yard par 4. So then we were able to eagle them, and then I was about a half a foot short of making a hole-in-one on 15 at Two Rivers, the golf course in Dakota Dunes. So go check that out. All right, so with golf season no more, the winter upon us, as they would say in Game of the Thrones, winter is coming. That means I don't go outside. That means I'm going to give you plenty of episodes of the podcast. It means I'm going to give you plenty of streams on Twitch. It means, also, this podcast you can find on YouTube now because I have figured out a way to upload this audio to YouTube as well. So now you can listen to it from your desktop on YouTube. All right? No more excuses, people. No, I won't hear any more excuses. Well, you're not here or there or blah, blah, blah. I got my dog barking at me. So, she's telling me to wrap it up. All right, boys and girls. Thanks for tuning in as always. Drop that follow. Hit that like button. Make sure you hit that notifications button. Whatever you got to do to know when your man, Mr. One Guy with a mic, drops an episode, you get to hear it first. Sometimes we drop dead air. What can I say? All right. Y'all have a great weekend. Have a great week. And we'll see y'all next week. And I'm not for sure what next week's topic will be. So follow me on Twitter at One Guy with a Mic. Thanks.
Hey there, sports history fan. This is Arnie Chapman, a.k.a. the Football History Dude, and I wanted to thank you for stopping by to listen to another episode here on the Sports History Network. Our podcasters are passionate about uncovering and sharing sports stories from yesteryear. And if you didn't know it already, we have over 30 shows across the network covering all sorts of sports history topics. In fact, here's a glimpse into one of our awesome podcasts here on the network.
The Pigskin Tales podcast is all about the lesser-known pro football players. Yes, there are stories about the ones we know, like Brad Tarkenton and Harold Red Grange. But have you ever heard of Ernie Nevers? How about Dave Osborne or even Grady Alderman? These men created their own path to the NFL. How did they do it? Listen to the Pigskin Tales podcast, now streaming on your favorite music platform. Go to pigskintales.com.
How about that? I bet you're super hyped to go listen to that new podcast, right? Well, to learn about this show and all the other podcasts on the network, head over to sportshistorynetwork.com/podcast. Again, that's sportshistorynetwork.com/podcast. Head over there today to find your next favorite sports history podcast.